Alrighty, folks. Well, welcome back to Turwinkle Talks. It has been a time, and Turwinkle has found himself here in Darnassus tonight. Turwinkle, are you excited about everything going on tonight?
Sure.
You bet. And so tonight, we find ourselves here in Darnassus. And why, you may ask? Well, we have been honored with the task of coming back and talking to a guild that we interviewed a long time ago. And, for night elves, it's not that long because, they age a lot slower than us gnomes. But the fine guild called Moonglaive Sentinels. And so tonight we're going to talk with them. We're going to find out about their guild, what their plans are up and coming, how, if you're still looking for roleplay here on Wormrest Accord, and I failed to mention that's where we're at. We are on Wormrest Accord here, and you're looking for some roleplay with your female night elf, or you have a guild that would like to perhaps roleplay with the Moonglaive Sentinels, how you can go about doing so. And we're going to talk with those folks all about their fine guild, talk with them a little bit about their history, some great memories that they've had here in World of Warcraft retail. That's where we find ourselves, and also what they're doing currently as a guild, and again what their future adventures may hold. We'll also talk to the members of the guild, find out how they enjoy their guild, and again maybe some of their fond memories of being in that guild, some of the fun times that they've had. And then finally, we may discuss a little bit about what they feel the current status of roleplay in retail World of Warcraft is, and in their opinion, what they think about it, and what they think they can maybe do to improve it. What can Action Vision and Blizzard do to improve? Pardon me, ma'am. What can we do to improve maybe roleplay on Wormrest Accord and on all the roleplay servers? So what can we do to maybe help that along? And so with that, Turwinkle, shall we go ahead and find where these guys are at?
Affirmative.
You bet. So let us see here. And again, we find ourselves here in Darnassus, a wonderful zone. And this is old Darnassus, by the way. The new Darnassus is not a fun place to be, but there we go. And as I recall, this is over here at the gatehouses where we interviewed these fine folks the last time. We could have rode, one of our sabers up here. We had Glenn, but we kept getting the evil eye. He does spew out a little bit of smoke. Yeah, he does spew out a little smoke. So we try to respect our neighbors here in Darnassus. And again, a wonderful zone. Good old Teldrassil. And here we are. It's Moonglaive Sentinels. Hello, everyone. Let's take a look here. Oh, this is awesome.
It's been a long time.
It has been, indeed.
Almost 10 years.
Which for you guys is a drop in the bucket, but for us gnomes, yeah. A little more gray and in Turwinkle's beard. You guys look awesome. And so, right up front here, we've got the guild leader herself. And so go ahead and introduce yourself.
Adelwina Winter Sage. Most everyone just calls me Adele out of character. Guild leader. Actually the third guild leader, but longest standing one.
Right. And what's the title of the guild leader in the guild?
Commander.
Commander. Excellent. And Moonglaive Sentinels. How did we come up with the name Moonglaive Sentinels for the guild?
Long story short, we used to be called Sentinel. It's probably what most of the people on Wormrest know us best as. It's what we were called for the longest time. For various reasons, partly because of after the tree burned and we were kind of starting afresh in character, decided it was time for a new name, and out of a few different choices, we came up with Moonglaive. Sentinels.
Perfect. And if you were to describe what kind of guild you are, how would you go about that?
Heavy roleplay for sure. We pretty strict with our recruitment policies. At least we were.
Okay.
In the past, it's quite a bit slower now, but we've always had some sort of storyline going on, and it's definitely something where we've always tried to adhere to proper Warcraft lore, though that's sometimes up for debate. Different people have different ideas what that is, but yeah, we've always kind of stuck to our guns to be that traditional, quote unquote, traditional Night Elf Sentinel guild. We were originally established as that, where it's only female Night Elves in the cadre, mages, Death Knights, no creepy demon hunters, and Worgens, no male Night Elves. We've always stuck to our guns on that.
Well, awesome. And so, Heavy Roleplay Guild here on Wormrest Accord. And so, where do you call home now? And again, we're in Old Darnassus, so where is home for you guys?
We've migrated to Astronar and Ashenvale, though it's not quite as scenic as Darnassus, unfortunately.
Right. Got to make do until, and I think we talked a little bit before starting the stream, but talked a little bit about, come on, Blizz, let's plant a new tree already, and
we are still holding out hope that Blizzard will plant us a new tree. They've been hinting at it quite a bit in the storyline. I'm not going to give too many spoilers. They have been hinting that they are going in that direction, but knowing Blizz, it could just be a tease, but I'm hoping it's not.
Right. And, planting it the right way. Yeah.
Yeah, don't just be just a facade.
Yeah.
Something that we can actually visit and walk on and live in.
Yeah. No tumors or anything like that, weird growths or anything. An actual tree. World tree, yeah.
We're hoping.
So how big is your guild now?
We're smaller now. I think there's probably 20 of us that are still active between here in game, and there's still a number of people that keep in contact via Discord and other our website. We probably have about 20 that are here and there. Not everyone shows up every night, of course, for events, but we'll touch on this a little bit later too. But things are winding down.
Sure. I think, and not just role play for retail WoW, but definitely is one of the things. And like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And so you did say it as far as Wormrest Accord is concerned, it is winding down a little bit. There seems to be a lot of migration to Moonguard, but there's still a lot of folks that do role play here in Wormrest Accord. And say someone has a female night elf, they want to join you. So first and foremost, who do I talk to if I want to join you guys?
Well, I will. I will forewarn you, we have closed recruitment
Oh,
in
okay.
advance. So we are this December. Might be getting ahead of myself, but this December will be our 13th, and we're planning it to be our final anniversary.
All
It will
right.
be. It's gonna do double duty as our. We'll be celebrating our 13th, and then it'll also be a send off for us. And to prevent anyone from joining and then finding out that this guild is only going to be around for another 6 months, we've closed.
Okay, so you've closed
We have
recruitment.
closed. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, you guys will still be around, and so, folks, if you still want to role play with you, I know you have some adventures up and coming. Is that correct?
Yep. We're still. We do have a storyline in the Dragon Isles right now, which will probably be our final one, be our last hurrah. That will hopefully wrap up before this December.
And it looks like is it Silverus?
Silverus says being haunted, I think.
Oh, it's still traumatized from the Dragon Isles. Is that correct?
I think she's got a toy that's haunting her.
Oh, okay.
I think it's that
I
haunted
thought
memento
because
toy.
you mentioned Dragon Isles, and she's like, ah. So, all
No,
right.
currently, we're hunting an artifact on the Dragon Isles.
Oh,
So,
nice.
um,
So, folks will obviously be asking. So, why after 13 years are you guys shuttering the doors?
as much as I hate to say it, Warmaster Accord is not what it used to be. I'm sorry, Mashkin, if you're out there watching this. It's just, especially, I know Horde's. I think the Horde side is still pretty active, but Alliance side has dwindled significantly. Uh, it's been it's been a long, gradual thing, but in the last few years, it's accelerated. And with a guild like ours, where we are a single race guild with other restrictions, makes it especially difficult to recruit, and it's just not sustainable any longer for us.
Right. Well, and again, I think that's just kind of the way of things, isn't it? Way of life. You have your heyday, and then it's off into the sunset. Um, but 13 years, that is a good run, though, for a guild. I got to say.
Yeah, just a little.
I mean, there's not a lot of guilds that make it past year one, much less 13. So, what do you think contributed to your guys' success as a guild, especially a roleplay guild, and able to maintain, uh, you know, 20 people is still, it's not a small guild. 20 people is a pretty good sized guild. Able to hold those numbers over 13 years and keep people interested in the role play. What do you think was your guys' quote unquote secret to that?
I'll let anyone else join if anyone else wants to join in after. But just say initially, it has to be a group effort. Uh, you can't do it alone as the guild leader, and you need, especially, you need officers that share your vision, are willing to support you, willing to help out. So you just can't shoulder the load by yourself, especially for that long. And you also, not just officers, but you need your rank and file members to do the same. That they like what you're doing, they support you, and are also willing to. They're also willing to host events and be proactive. We've always encouraged not just the officers but all the members to host events if they want. We don't want it to be just the story of the officers and the guild leader. We've always tried to. Not everyone's comfortable hosting events, but
Right.
we've always tried to have that opportunity for everyone and be supportive of that if they want to. So I think that goes back to it being a group effort. it can't just be the guild leader trying to carry the guild. So I think, and I've been blessed with so many great officers and members over the years that everything that they do contributes to it. It can't just be the guild leader. It can't just, not just, there's no way I can take all the credit at all. It's been so many people. And unfortunately, a lot of people that aren't here anymore that I can't really thank. But if you're watching this, you're out there, you know who you are.
Right. And I think that is very well said. And I've found over my years talking with different guilds and whatnot, and that seems to be one of the keys of success is, again, not trying as a guild leader to do it all yourself, but having other people that are willing to step up and help you out and shoulder some of that responsibility of running events, being there, helping new players out, new recruits, new role players, making it a big team effort. They say, teamwork makes the dream work. So the more successful guilds tend to be those that do exactly what you just said. Perfect.
It does. It has to be a group effort, and not just the guild leader and the officers. Get everyone included. Give everyone that, even if they don't want to host, but make sure that they know that if they want to, the support is there, the opportunity is there. All of that's going to help out.
Excellent. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have something to say.
Alrighty.
Moonglaive, Sentinel of the cadre.
Perfect.
I think, just like Adele said, it was a big group effort, and one of the big things that kept me coming back because I've been with this guild for 10 years now, was that it doesn't matter. Everybody that's played WoW has taken breaks from WoW.
Yeah.
But the big thing that kept me coming back was that it wouldn't matter if it was 2 months, 4 months, a year and a half. You came back, and people remembered you. People would welcome you. You were welcomed in open arms by a bunch of people you hadn't talked to for months. You would start. You would do role play, and the whole community in our guild would be quick to react to and quick to include all the new members, myself included when I first started out. And it made it very easy to open up, because a lot of role players, at least when you're starting off, there's that shyness. You don't know if you don't want to do it wrong. You want to do it right. But without a lot of experience, you don't really have the confidence to participate. But I found that this guild in particular for me was incredibly helpful and incredibly welcoming when it came to new role players and old role players alike. So I think the welcoming community in this guild was definitely one of the biggest highlights I had over the 10 years that I had participating in the events.
Awesome. Yeah, that's very well said. Yeah, again, another great way for a guild to not only grow but to maintain the folks that it has is, again, allowing, especially those new folks that have never role played before, allowing them to grow comfortably within that guild. Because it's a little overwhelming if you're brand new and you go up and you're trying your very best to maybe walk into a tavern or something and you're just like, hi, I go up to the table, whereas you have a guild and you're a lot more comfortable, and especially when you got folks that are giving you a helping hand, helping you to learn how to emote and all that good stuff that role playing involves. Excellent. Anyone else?
I would like to give a shout out to all of our members for just making the events fun to run, even when you have nothing prepared for the night. And just for all the great support and encouragement and the wonderful out-of-character atmosphere that we've created, where we're still sharing memes and life events over on our Discord, and just still enjoying each other's company.
Excellent. Yeah, roleplay isn't just about the in-character stuff, is it? It's also those lifelong friends that you make out of character as well. And I think one of the great things about WoW and what made WoW and what still makes WoW such a popular game today is the community, the folks that you're able to meet in the game and meet in your guild, and eventually, you meet in real life. And for some folks, you meet in real life, and it's like you've been friends from the get-go. I've heard people say, well, if you meet someone over the internet, you're not real friends. Well, I beg to differ. And I think when you make these lifelong friendships in the game, in a guild, one that especially has been around as long as you guys have, that goes beyond just World of Warcraft. I think you become more real life friends and family in a way. So very well said. Yeah. Anyone else? What has kept Moonglaive Sentinels going for 13 years?
Oh, if I could talk on this.
Sure.
I know Adele doesn't want all the credit, but Adele is extremely organized. I mean, I run tabletop D&D, and it's like 50-50. I've planned something, or I'm just kind of winging it. And I don't know how often Adele was winging it, but he never seemed like he was winging it. It always, like every single event, seemed very well organized. And yeah, I'm sure that having good help and all that was part of that, but yeah, Adele himself does deserve a portion of the credit for always being on top of things, in the way most guilds I've been in weren't.
Hey, as much as you delegate as a guild leader, it's got to come from somewhere. There's got to be someone doing that delegating, and and I know Adele is very humble, and but it does take a good leader to make a great guild and do great events. Turwinkle has been to a lot of events, and you can tell certainly there's a vast difference between an event that's just kind of, as you mentioned, kind of hodgepodge put together versus one that's well organized and really run by a well organized guild. There's a vast difference between the two, and again, a lot of guilds don't even make it past year one, but I've seen it time and again that the main difference is its leadership, and how those people run their guilds will make that difference between 1 year and 13. And so you can see where Moonglaive Sentinels has gone correct in that, and it's by, again, having good leadership as well. I think that's important. Yeah. Well said.
I'll add one more thing here. Some of the guildies might roll their eyes, and this has always been an eternal struggle, but and Discord has kind of made this a bit obsolete, but our guild website has been I think it's been one of the most important tools for us, especially before Discord, because we recruit through the website. We have so many guides and is more Night Elf lore on that website than probably anywhere else on the internet right now. I probably guarantee you there right now. So,
and what's the address of your website?
Well, I could share it. Maybe we could put it in the comments or something. It's sentinelwra.shifter.com. It's a shifter website. It's pretty common for guilds. So I don't think many guilds use guild websites anymore. Discord's kind of replaced that. But,
sure.
I'm sure all the guildies most of the people here can attest to me constantly badgering them to use the website over the years. And it's that more than anything has helped us stay organized. I think it's been such an important tool, and I know it's kind of old-fashioned and obsolete now with Discord, but I can't emphasize enough that has really helped us the past just stay organized.
And I would like to add that the guild website, I've been accessing it through Google by typing Sentinel space WRA, and it's the first thing that comes up. So I never
Okay.
actually typed in the entire address. I've been typing into Google for about 10 years, and it's very reliable for me.
We use it to, or at least I use it to chronicle most of the campaigns that I host, so people can go back and they look and see what we did. We have RP guides, roleplay guides, are just people post their stories and their journals, and it's been an amazing tool, and also a struggle to get people to use it.
Let's go.
And-
Oh, go ahead.
I do want to say that we're not the only guild that uses it, but I do know of other Caldori guilds that will reference like, oh hey, let's use this for the uniforms and stuff like that. And because even though we have talked about a little bit of the future of the guild, we'll get into more of that later. But the guild website will be remaining online, so it will you'll still be able to access it and get any of those old resources as you continue to play the game.
All right. So Adele. So 13 years, Moonglaive Sentinels, especially being one that's niche in the fact that you guys didn't allow, as we mentioned earlier, any other races, any other genders. It was just female night elves. Do you think that maybe helped with the longevity of the guild? Or do you think you may have been able to, I don't know, some folks will say, oh, well, maybe you might have been able to grow a little bit more or have a bigger guild if you allowed other races in. What do you say to that?
It was a double-edged sword for sure. If we had relaxed things, it definitely would have helped. I think we would have had more people for sure, but would it have made us a better guild? I don't know. Probably not. Our original guild leader, Carrie L, founded this guild on that idea of us being that traditional night elf roleplay guild, and I really wanted to carry on that tradition. One thing it did do for us, I think, positively though, is it helped us stand out and made us unique in that way.
Yeah.
Not that we were, there has been other night elf only guilds for sure, but we were always that one Sentinel guild that everyone knew who we were and what we were about. Whether they agreed with it or not is another story.
Awesome. Yeah. I would think that it also kind of give you maybe a little sense of pride in that, yeah, this is who we are. And, and this is what we enjoy doing. And so if you want to join us, hey, make a female night elf and come join us.
It does, because we were able to, like I said, we stuck to our guns, and we lasted as long as we did, even overcoming that. So.
Yeah. Excellent. So, as far as you've had 13 years of adventures, and we'll talk with each one of you one-on-one, find out what your favorites were. But for your guild as a whole, what is one of maybe what do you think your greatest achievement as a guild has been over 13 years?
As far as the storyline?
Yeah.
There's two that I'll mention, at least for me personally. One is probably the most iconic one, and one that's almost become a yearly tradition for us, is our Perilous Trek, where we, over a period of weeks, we slow march and role play from Dark Shore all the way to Perilous.
Wow.
And it's become it's become something that we have done almost every year, something that the guildies have always looked forward to. And then The other one, the one that I'm most proud of, probably the one that I put the most work into, was a storyline that I did called "Search for the Banshee Queen," where after she burned Teldrassil, there was a bit of lore that Tyrande had sent Sentinels out looking to try and hunt her down. So I based a storyline about that, of us being assigned to basically track her down, hunt her down. And it took us across the Eastern Kingdoms, to Northrend, all the way to the top of Icecrown Spire. And I put probably the most work into that campaign that I ever have.
It was pretty amazing.
A lot of great moments.
That
I
sounds
hope
awesome.
everyone else enjoyed it as much as I did. But probably as far as the one that I felt was the most complete. Of course, we never actually found Sylvanas, and we were obviously not able to confront her. Probably would have went bad for us if we had. It was, for me personally, that was my most complete storyline that I've run.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. Turwinkle wishes he was in on that.
I don't know. We had some pretty hairy moments.
I bet. All right. So what is the guild currently doing? What's the storyline currently for you guys?
Currently, we're in the Dragon Isles. Originally, their original goal was to escort expedition of the Cenarian Circle to the Dragon Isles, kind of keeping in the theme of the theme Blizzard has of this expansion, where it's one of exploration, not necessarily conflict between Horde and Alliance. And right now, they are basically on a secondary mission where they're hunting down a legendary staff called the Ember Spire that was at one point was given to the Green Dragonflight as a gift before the Sundering, and it was lost. And they've been tasked with trying to hunt it down and find it.
Oh, okay. And we're talking future adventures. And you guys have 6 months. You got a big finale? Without giving any spoilers, obviously.
I'm working on it. It will revolve around this current. It will revolve around this current storyline. This will probably be our last, but I'm hoping to go out with a proper send off.
All right. And so, when that is done, are you going to have like a ceremony maybe at the end to signify the end of the guild, or you got some plans along those lines, or?
Yes, each year in December we celebrate our guild anniversary. We make it a public server event, so anyone that wants to join in can. Normally it tends to be the same few friends of the guild that show up, but anyone's welcome. I usually post it on the Murmurs Accord forums, Murmurs Accord Facebook, various Discords. I will have info out there as we get closer, but that anniversary event will also serve as our send off. So it'll serve two purposes, and that'll be early December before we get into Christmas.
Yeah, I guess let me ask everybody, when the guild is done, are you guys going to continue role playing individually? Or are you going to maybe start your own guilds? What's everybody's plan?
Wait and see.
Wait and see. Okay.
That's probably a good philosophy. Sid is likely to go off and roleplay with family characters.
Okay.
I know Numa, the character that I play, is a soldier at heart, so she will never stop. If the Sentinels have to retire, she will continue to serve Kaldorai, one way or the other, but her heart will always be with the cadre.
As with Aelin, although she's currently got a storyline going with the Red Dragon flight, so I might pursue that.
Oh, awesome. Now, Dell, what are you going to do with all your free time?
Well, I'll still be around in game. I'm not going to quit WoW.
Right.
And I'll still plan on hosting. It won't be guild events, but periodically I do Night Elf themed public events. So I'm gonna try to at least keep active in that way. But I'd like to do a little more tabletop role play outside of WoW. So that might be my Saturday night thing from now on. I'll still be around one way or the other. Like I said, we're not disbanding the guild. I'll still be around if people want to stay. They're welcome to stay.
So the guild will still be here. It's just it won't be active as far as role play is concerned, but it'll still be a place people can come and get together. Correct?
Yep. If they so want to, if they want to role play with each other, if they want to stay and role play outside the guild, that's fine. There's no guilt either way. So.
All right. Awesome. All right. Well, what we'll do now is we'll talk to everybody individually and find out what their favorite moments in the guild over the past 13 years and we'll talk about how long they've been in the guild, what they liked about it, and a little bit about their character as well. So,
I've probably talked enough for the time, so I'll go last. And
okay.
Some other folks go.
So if they just want to come right up front here, and we could all roll for it if you want to roll for it, or
roll initiative.
Otherwise, I'm just going to start calling out names.
Yeah.
I think my officer should go first.
Okay.
Agreed. So I guess I will start.
Oh, okay. And so go ahead and introduce your character.
I play the character of Sidney Amazon, Nee Night Fury, not to be confused with other Night Furies on the server. She's the evil one.
Okay. Okay.
Important distinction. Sid is our Kadoi equivalent of a spellbreaker and totally not a mage. Don't peek behind that curtain of arcane illusion. I know, but if I didn't make the joke, someone else was going to. Beyond being our artillery piece, she trains our Sentinels in the arts of weapons, and what I've liked most about being in the guild is, the favorite memories and whatnot, are the draws and training sessions I would run. Because IRL, the sports I do are archery and HEMA, so historical sword fighting, and being able to bring all those sources into the roleplay, like this is how you do this technique, and here's a video, or here's the historical source if you want to look into it further.
Awesome. And how long have you been in the guild?
I joined at the tail end of Legion, kind of dipped out of WoW during BFA, and then rejoined. I did also end up breaking our dice system and made a new one, which was a really fun experience. That should definitely be included in there. Sweet.
Yeah, for me, one of the hardest things to do was roleplay combat. I always felt like either I was, for me, getting that balance between being, Thor or, Dobby, and so trying to find that balance is always hard for me. And so for a new role player, what would you suggest when it comes to role-playing combat?
I would suggest focusing on what your partner's doing and make it much more about, the symbolism at play between the two. It's not about winning or necessarily looking cool. It's about having fun with the people around you, and you have chosen to do so, whether through social or combative means, to engage with the character. So, if you're using a dice system, that kind of regulates make sure everyone is on the same page. If you're not, you're pushing them to reveal more of the character and to get more out of it, and they are doing likewise for you.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Hello.
No.
And so go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I am Guardian Tefela Wing Sorrow. I have been role-playing in WoW for something like 10 years at this point. Play, obviously, a priest of Elune, but specifically a shadow priestess. I really like playing around with like the dark side of Elune, which was kind of justified lore-wise because of Night Warrior.
Right.
And so finding that sort of justification in my role-play has been really exciting and helped me kind of also carve out my own little place in the guild.
Well, excellent. And so how long have you been in Moonglaive?
I joined February of 2020, so literally right before the pandemic. You know, after a many years-long hiatus from roleplay due to some like previous drama in another guild, as well as grad school, so it was kind of strange for me to just suddenly want to join this guild, especially one with sort of like firmer rules after playing D&D for so many years, where you know I could be whoever and whatever
Right.
I wanted to be, versus the harder line rules of World of Warcraft lore. But I did, and I do not regret it.
And do you have a favorite memory of maybe an event or something in the guild?
I have so many, but I'm really partial to the trek that we do every year. That is my favorite kind of roleplay style, is just the slow sort of traveling, meandering, the conversing that we do along the way. We stop to hold lectures on specific lore events and people, and it's just that really speaks to the kind of roleplayer I am at heart.
Awesome. And, you get out of from another guild, or you've had some drama and stuff, get away from it. How hard was it to find your roleplay roots again?
Really hard, really intimidating, especially in joining a guild like this one with harder line rules like that. But I was really surprised just to find the community and the kind people that I have here with the Sentinels, and like especially as well finding a lot of LGBTQ guildies as well. I think half of our membership is LGBTQ or self-identifies that way in some respect, and so just there was family here for me, even if we all have different RP styles and motivations, or if our characters don't always get along well. It's just
Right.
people are still wonderful no matter what.
Right. And again, that's that IRL versus OC, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, and that's great, especially, and I've said it time and again, I know Turwinkle agrees with me, that a guild is a home, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are family, and, home is where you lay your head. And so a lot of folks, again, you may never meet in real life, but, you always have each other here online. And so, well, excellent. I mean, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. See, Adele, no one said anything bad yet about you.
It's all right. After 13 years, I have pretty thick skin.
Oh, don't worry. I'm coming.
Oh, okay.
It's still to come.
All right. Hello.
Howdy.
Go ahead and introduce your character.
I am Mikatar Sun Shadow. I often go by Meek, or sometimes Mike, and I'm as likely to mispronounce it as anyone.
Okay. And go ahead.
Let's see. I started roleplay in WoW in late Mists of Pandaria. I had been doing mainly, Dungeons and Dragons with friends, and we all got too old and couldn't meet anymore. And so I had heard that people roleplay in like WoW and other MMOs. I should find that. And I poked around, and like within a week or two, I ran across Sentinel. At that point, they would back when Darnassus was still standing, they would at the end of many evenings roleplay, they would get in formation and ride around on their sabers. And I
Okay.
saw them doing that and go, oh, they seem kind of cool. And so I talked to someone about the guild, and I said, oh wow, that's like a really good idea for a guild. And so the character I was playing then wasn't didn't quite meet the requirements, but so I made someone who did and joined the guild.
See, and I think that's an amazing statement right there. You know, you see a guild that you really like, and you've already got a character, but it doesn't fit in that guild. So you turned around and it's like, no, I really want to join that guild, so I'm going to make a character that fits that guild. So that says a lot, I think, in retrospect, that you found a guild that was so amazing that you're like, you know what, I'm going to make a character just so I can join.
Yeah, I had to be the cousin of my first character. Now there's this whole giant family because I'm kind of an alcoholic.
Oh, no. Awesome. Favorite memory?
Well, I mean, there were a ton. My personal favorite, we did this big event involving several guilds where I'm probably going to get this wrong because it's really complicated, but there was one of the one of the lords in the Firelands was trying to like consolidate power and basically take Ragnaros's place, and so there were several folks working together trying to stop that. And then at the end of the big fight, we had to flee the Firelands, and Meek was too slow and got trapped there along with a bunch of the other NPCs we had brought along. So then there was a whole separate storyline where she was trying to lead them to the next gate that was open without everyone getting killed by fire creatures.
Nice.
And we took a lot of losses, and she got really burned by a core hound, but they did escape, most of them.
So you got most of everybody out. I mean,
All that I could.
That's see, there you go. I mean, hey, you got to crack a few eggs. Am I right? Well, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
Hi.
And so, how do you pronounce the name?
See, I am Keeper Aelin Sageheart. My character's original name was Symbol Myrna Silverbrook, although
Okay.
she very rarely uses her old name anymore.
Awesome. And how long have you been with the guild?
I've been with the guild 5.5 years.
Oh man, that is a long time. What keeps you in Moonglaive Sentinels?
Well, building off of what Mekatar said earlier, there were a lot of very big sweeping storylines, and I was brought in during a very small character moment. One of the guild members that isn't with us anymore was roaming around Darnassus, not doing anything particularly guild related, but I was on my character near the Temple of Loon, just chilling out. And they sparked a RP scenario. And while I had read the lore books, I was very into the story of World of Warcraft, I wasn't aware that roleplay was something that was done in the game. So being brought into that and just being like, oh, I can treat this character like more than just a way to navigate the world was
Right.
rather eye-opening for me.
And here you are 5 years later.
Well, it was actually kind of grand because the
Yeah.
storyline, I just started this character as a priestess of Loon, and they had started the storyline going up into Northrend, chasing a highborn mage who had stolen an artifact from the temple, and in the process had killed a bunch of the Sisters of Loon. So I had motivation to leave the temple to avenge my sisters.
Right.
And then by the end of it, I had just decided to stay with the cadre because it had given Aelin a sense of purpose.
Nice. That's why I love hearing those kinds of stories because, again, and a lot of people they're like, "What's role play? What do you mean?" And there you are. You're playing the game, quote unquote, playing the game, and next thing you know, 5 years later, you're an established role player. You're in a guild you love, and you've had all these adventures outside of go collect 10 wolf pelts. You've had these amazing adventures that you guys have all done together, and that's amazing to me.
Yeah, it's been absolutely stunning seeing what not only Adele, but the entirety of the cadre has come up with from being introduced to HEMA through seeing these combat exercises and some other interesting character development with another one of my characters, to getting to know some of our younger members through events that I used to run.
Well, awesome. So, someone that's watching this, and they're asking the same questions you were. What's role play? What is some good advice you might give someone that is like, you know what, that sounds interesting. What do I do?
First off, don't take it too seriously. I know a bunch of people who look at the lore books and go, "This is law," and that is not always the best take. Because there are going to be these grand heroes who are pillars of what the community probably should be in some respects, but people are still people. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to do things and occasionally learn the hard way.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to get in there and learn as you go along.
Excellent. Wonderful advice. Thank you so much. All right. Numa, hello.
Yes, hello.
So, isn't it true the real reason why you guys stay in the guild? It's the $50 pieces of gold that Adele gives you guys every week?
No, actually, the main reason why I stay in the guild is because every once in a while, Adele will have an event where she goes into the Night Elf starting zone and she gives bags to all the new Night Elf players. And whenever she does, I make sure to make a bunch of tunes so that I can exploit the amount of bags I can get. You can't tell
And
her
then
this,
auction,
though.
yeah, auction house.
Of course, that's how I make my gold every year.
All right. So Numa, which is that your full character's name? What's your
Numa Silverglaive, forever the soldier, never the officer. She is a soldier at heart, born off the parents, two soldiers that fought in countless wars. She is a soldier through and through. She joined the Sentinels back in Cataclysm after the world broke, and with ideas of the romanticized idea of war. War brings glory. War brings heroes together, and she came in as a bold, very naive soldier, and coming into the Sentinels and having so many soldiers to idolize and learn from. She learned exactly what it meant to be a soldier, and she's grown over the last 10 years and been molded into a soldier that can aspire to do good for her people.
now? Always a soldier, never an officer. Is that your choice or is that Adele's?
Of course, it's my choice.
Okay.
Adele would never hold me back. No. I've always held the belief that armies and cadres are held together by the soldiers and the rank and file. And I told myself I always wanted to be one of the rank and file. I always wanted to be the one that stands by the other soldiers and as they work together. The officers are wise, the officers have experience, and they can tell and direct the younger sentinels into exactly what they need to do. I am good at what I do, and they are good at what they do, and I follow what they have to tell me to do.
Awesome. So, what has kept you in the Sentinels all these years?
Oh, like I said before, it's just the welcoming community, the community in the Sentinels. Doesn't matter how long you've been gone, doesn't matter why you've been gone, you come back and they are all welcoming. It's like you've never left a day.
Awesome. And do you have a favorite story?
Ooh, I have a few, but I'm gonna keep it short. But I have two that I'm going to mention. The first one was an event that happened in Tedrasil. Basically, there were demons that were starting to sprue up from one of the groves that was corrupted. And I remember it was a big fight, and one thing led to another, and I was stuck. I ended up stuck with a human paladin ally called Rogers to
Oh,
fight off waves of demons as the Sentinels were hurrying to our position to help to reinforce us. And they all came in the nick of time and were able to save a bloodied Numa and a bloodied Rogers right before the worst came to pass. And I remember vividly how much that event impacted me. And I remember both Rogers and Numa sitting down after the fight was done, giving each other a fist bump, and then passing out.
nice. Very,
And
very nice.
obviously, the other one is obviously the yearly treks, like Adele mentioned earlier. So many cool RP scenarios that came out of nowhere just by sitting around with your guildmates, sitting around with the soldiers in the cadre, and RP events would just come up. They'd spring up like nothing. It'd be time like you'd log in, you'd see a few of the guild members sitting around the fire or patrolling the area, and then we would all get together, and somebody would come up with something, and an RP event would just come out of the woodworks. It wasn't planned or anything, but that's probably one of the highlights of the Sentinel Trek every year is the spontaneous RP events that we got to do.
Well, I will say, and I agree with you. Sometimes the more fun RP events are not necessarily the ones that are scripted and prepared in advance, but those ones that are spontaneous and just kind of come out of left field, and all of a sudden, I think what that does is it makes your RP feel a little bit more alive, and it makes your character fleshes out your character a little more. Maybe it shows a flaw in your character that you didn't think you had, or shows a strength that you didn't think your character had. So I think that's very well said. Thank you so very much, sir.
And I'm gonna add one last thing to this.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna build off what Aelin said. Whereas a lot of players they come in and WoW lore is so vast that a lot of players are shy to search RP because they're intimidated by the WoW lore. But I'd say that some of the best RP I've had is when things went wrong.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. Well said. Well said, Numa. All right. Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead and introduce your character.
So, my name is Miralace Lunarpine. I've been with the guild for around 7 years now, joining during one of the treks back in 2016.
Oh, awesome. So were you like out in one of the zones and they came through, or?
No, so I found the guild originally through the forums, the WoW forums, and at the time I had roleplayed for, I don't know, 10 plus years before that, but I never actually roleplayed in World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay.
So I saw the guild advertisement. I thought it looked cool. I made this character specifically for that purpose, and the rest is history.
Awesome. Were you nervous walking up to him saying, "Hey, can I join?"
Um, no, but definitely was a new experience for me at the time. Nowadays, I've had a lot of other guilds that I've worked with, but the Sentinels for sure have been the longest standing guild, and it's the only guild that I still have a character actively in.
And what would you say the difference is in the role play tabletop versus role playing in game?
Um, so tabletop, I would say, is definitely more. At least with my groups, have always been more tangent oriented. Uh, it's a lot harder to keep on track of things. You'll just go off on this, that, and the other things. You'll do some really goofy stuff that makes no sense in the grand scheme of things. So I
Right?
would definitely say Guild RP and so like Warcraft is definitely much more solidified and on point.
Right? And what has kept you in the Moonglaive Sentinels for that many years?
Well, they're all standing behind me. The people that I met, the friends, I mean, even members that aren't still playing with us, I still keep in touch with to this day. It was just a wonderful community.
Awesome. And so, what's your character currently doing in the storyline?
So this character in the current storyline isn't really the one that I brought to play a big part in it. The other thing I did a lot with the guild is I would bring in a lot of my other characters to help out when needed. So,
Oh,
for
awesome.
example, in the current Dragon Isles storyline, I brought in a character that I would bring in the past if Dell ever needed someone that had a proclivity towards dragons, and so I've just been having him wander around with them. But Miralace, she's just been pondering life choices more recently.
And there's some hidden text to that, sir. Some life choices.
Oh God,
Good life
yeah.
choices, or
Nah, just basically all the stuff after the War of Thorns and all the stuff in BFA.
okay.
Um, she's had a lot of questioning about whether or not the structured military life really is for her anymore,
Ah,
or
okay.
if perhaps there's something else out there in the world that really suits her.
Awesome. So, any advice for new role players coming into the game?
New role players, don't be shy. I would say is the big one. A lot of people they love to role play, and I would say if you have an idea and that idea really sticks with you, go for it. Don't let anyone tell you no. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't, because you can.
Excellent. That's right. I mean, you got the sandbox here. Create, right?
Yeah,
Excellent.
absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Don't forget about Red.
Oh,
Oh yes, the little squirrel. He so this was a character that was created alongside Mirrorlace. It sort of came with the idea that so there's certain storylines where Dryades say they could talk with all the little animals and stuff like that, and
right.
I sort of liked that idea, and so I sort of said, Miralace, she worked with Dryades in the past, and so she kind of understands how to speak with the little animals of the wild,
Right.
and so Red has just been a character that has been along with her since quite literally the beginning, and a big part of her storyline back after the War of the Thorns was what happened to this little squirrel friend right here.
To your right, Twinkle.
Oh, there. It's red.
On
It's
the
red.
ground.
Oh, okay. yeah. So tell me about Red.
Well, he is the commander of the Squirrel Legions of
Okay,
Kalimdor.
nice.
Always seen with his trusty acorn shield and sharpened pointy stick.
Okay.
He really likes head scratches and has always been a source of morale and support for Mirai and even the hardest of times.
Awesome. Everybody's got to have a companion that has stuck with them through thick and thin. And I was talking a little bit about George earlier, Turwinkle's water elemental that's been with him from the get-go. Now, please tell me that, I can see the story now. The Sentinels are surrounded by, this horde of angry demons, and Red and his army of chipmunks came to the rescue. You hear off in the distance this war cry from Red, and this horde over the hill, this huge horde of chipmunks comes charging over to save you guys.
I think there actually was something like that in a storyline a long time ago. It's been a long time now, but he's definitely played a part in certain storylines, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, sir. How could you were gonna leave without telling me about Red?
Look, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, Red, forgive me, all right?
That's right. Oh, that's amazing. And there you go, folks. I mean, it's stuff like that amazing stories like that you come up with as a role player, not necessarily just in World of Warcraft, tabletop, ESO, Star Wars, you name it. If you're role playing in it, you come up with these amazing stories like the amazing Red here, and that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much, and thank you, Red.
He says, cheap, so cheap, and thank you.
Sweet. I love it.
Can I just take a moment and appreciate the answer to what kept you in the guild? They're all still standing behind me. Love it.
Yeah, it's a great answer.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
And so, go ahead and, what's the name of your character?
Moon Shadow Snow.
All right. And what does your character do in the guild?
I am a rogue, typically more suited to, lockpicking, stealth encounters, some saboteur experience as well.
Awesome. And how long have you been in the Moonglaive Sentinels?
Sorry. I want to say about a year before Battlefort Alliance dropped.
Oh, okay. So a while. And how did you find them?
I had actually run into one of their members while I was doing a different Sentinel, RP, solo, without realizing there had been, a huge guild.
Oh,
and they
awesome.
kind of introduced me to the guild as, a friend/ally early on.
So,
Before actually joining.
So they sucked you into the guild.
Yes.
Awesome. And so, what's a favorite memory for you with these guys?
I have two. One of my favorites is the traditional leap from Trelgicel, where Adele would take us onto one of the branches and cast Featherfall on us. In character, it was kind of like a leap of trust.
Right? Oh, man. And
the other was...
Let me ask you, did Shadow Soul just, without question, leap off?
Sorry, what was the question again? My mic cut out. My headphones cut out.
No, you're fine. Without question, did Shadow Soul just leap off, or were you a little hesitant?
She leapt.
Okay. Awesome. All right, and the second one?
The second one was our finale from the War for Darkshore quest line, where we were trying to rescue and get civilians to the portal, and seeing like how the guild got like separated or survived going into the expansion, basically, and how they were reunited.
So for Shadow Soul, how did the burning of Teldrassil affect her?
Quite a bit. Ended up, I actually, out of character, ended up writing like a little prayer poem that got posted on our website a while ago. But yeah, it seen like her sisters fall in battle, seen so many people die, seen so many refugees, and people being left without homes just really hit hard for her.
Right. And so, again, you've been in this guild for a lot of years. What keeps you here?
How friendly everyone is, how patient they are. Because when I first joined the guild, I knew very little about like Sentinel and Caldori lore. I'd been kind of winging some of it based off what I had seen in game, which isn't always the clearest.
Right. Excellent. Well, that is great. Again, a good guild is going to be one that will help you grow as a character, I think. And if you have characters that are growing, I think that's one of the things that keeps a guild growing, is if the characters are kind of stagnant and they aren't learning and enjoying one another's company. Again, it's one of those guilds that will be here and then gone. You'll blink and they're gone. But a guild that not only is growing with events and whatnot, but helping your character grow and experience things in whatever meta you're in, I think is one of the reasons why Moonglaive Sentinels has been here for going on 13 years. So, excellent. Well, wonderful. All right.
I might, if Moon will allow me, I'm going to add one little tidbit. We have in a loving way, we have a little running joke with Shadow Soul that her character tends to get she ends almost every combat near death. We have to bandage her and patch her back up after every combat.
I don't know which dev I pissed off to roll like 5 ones in a row every event.
Yeah, she
Hey,
has the worst luck with rolls for whatever reason.
Especially if explosives are involved.
Wow.
Someone at Blizzard is watching.
Yeah, and and I think we'll all notice that. Shadow Soul didn't mention any of that. Oh, you know what? You're just like me, Shadow Soul. I can't roll a 20 to save my life, and that's why I always felt like doing any kind of role play combat. I felt like Dobby in most of those. Sorry, sir. Man, may I have another? Yeah. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, but as I was said earlier, like the best scenes are always the ones that go wrong.
That's right. That's right. See? Yeah. You don't have to be the Prince Charming. To me, that's a little dull. When there's a flaw or something goes wrong, that's when the excitement happens. And that's the thing people tend to remember. If everything goes right, no one remembers that adventure, but it's the adventure when, someone fell off the bridge and everybody had to figure out a way to get him out before, the water come rushing down the canyon. It's that kind of stuff that makes things stand out. All right. Is this the last one?
Yes, and I may be reading for her.
Okay, excellent. And so who do we have here, sir?
This is Silveris Brightwind, better known in the guild as Art or Artoria. On another character. This is one for 2 characters in the guild.
Okay. And so go ahead and whatever she has written there. Oh, is she typing? She'll type.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
She'll type it out
excellent.
And then,
excellent. I got you. I got you. Again, this is where the rust shows a little bit.
She says, Silva's one of 3 characters I have in the guild. Sorry, Art. I lost track.
So, how long has Sil been in the guild?
She joined around 2019.
No, it was just
Or
before
that-
me. In 2020.
Seems, yeah.
January 16th, 2020. I have it right here on the guild website.
It's still quite a while.
Yes. I mean, you think of it, oh, that was just yesterday. No, that was almost 4 years ago now. It's amazing how time does fly. And so Sil has 3 characters in the guild. If she had to pick one, which one's her favorite?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You asked a tough question.
This is when you play that Jeopardy music, do 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 do.
It's like asking who your favorite child is.
Right? Yeah, you have to kill 2. Which one are you gonna keep? I get okay, yeah, and I guess that really is an unfair question. I think that was an unfair question. Turwinkle to ask that. Turwinkle should be ashamed of himself, So, well, I guess you have 3 characters, but you've put them in this guild. What is it that you love about Moonglaive Sentinels that's kept you here for going on 4 years? And we all know the answer is red, but
I was just gonna say.
He's the mascot.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Buddy's the mascot.
Buddy, who's Buddy?
Long story.
Oh, what?
Oh, buddy.
Art says, it's a fun guild. I have made friends, and I was looking for a night elf guild, and I found one.
Well, indeed, yeah. I mean, that's and again, there's a lot of folks that will gravitate, especially in the role play, to one race or another that really either piques their interest as far as lore is concerned, the aesthetics, So, what is it about night elves that you like so much?
She says, they are beautiful and strong women, which appeals to me.
Awesome. Yeah, especially the Sentinels. You do not want to mess with the Sentinels. And if you've read any lore, that's right. Yeah, Sentinels were almost unmatched as far as combat prowess. And, you see orcs, they're all bulky and, Hulk-like, but when fighting one-on-one, I would put my money on a night elf over a sentinel over an orc warrior. And I know I'm probably going to get some backlash for that.
That's fighting words
Yeah.
right there.
But, come on. Am I right? I mean, come on.
I think we're all biased here, so.
Yeah. I'm speaking to the right crowd here.
And Art says, I also love elves, and I can completely attest to this.
Yeah.
Art has many elves.
Art is the elf authority.
Yes.
So if I need to know anything about elves, just go to Art.
And blood elves, but we won't talk about that here.
Oh.
We still love her.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. They are the pretty race. I will say that, the blood elves.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, I mean,
we're the pretty race.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's what I meant. That's Turwinkle. Come on, man. All right.
There'd be some more fighting words.
Right. And so, Art, any advice to new role players that want to role play a night elf? I think someone has cursed poor Art with something that keeps scaring him. She is scared. Is Steve around? Steve the ghost? Is that what it is?
She's actually a very brave sentinel, so.
There. Yes, I see him. Steve, what are you doing here, man?
Ye old haunted memento.
Yes, good old Steve. My good friend Layla, in all of her adventures, she's always looking for Steve. And no matter where we go, we're underwater thousands of leagues, and there's Steve. Top of a mountain. There's Steve.
Waiting for you when you log in.
Yeah, Steve. Just have fun, all right? And I think that's, for roleplay, that is the quintessential answer. Just have fun. And I think someone here said it, don't allow folks to tell you what you can and can't roleplay. If you're having fun with it, have fun. If you're having fun role-playing in Final Fantasy, have fun playing there. If you're having fun role-playing in WoW, have fun. Really, ultimately, I think that's the main goal for roleplay, is having fun. And again, I've said it time and again, taking a sandbox, a meta that you're in, and having fun in it. Hey, there you go. Whale Lord? What is Whale Lord?
I'll let Art explain that. If she wants to.
Oh, it's the mascot for a druid.
Druid of the Fin, I believe.
Oh. That sounds amazing. See, it's stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. The creativity. Druid of the Fin. That's amazing. And did an event where we saved whales. That is awesome. Well, thank you so much, Art. All right. See, no one had a unkind word to say. Adele, you did great.
now that you mention it.
I didn't have to pay him that much.
Right.
You don't see the guild chat.
You guys are getting paid?
Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, Adele hasn't gone yet, so there's still time.
Yep.
True.
And we
Probably
usually
the
usually
biggest critic.
save we usually save the guild leader for last. So come on up.
See, I gave them all homework and asked them to prepare something, and then I didn't do it myself. So.
Well, your questions are a little different in that, how long have you been? How long you been with the guild?
So I'm not the original guild leader. I'm actually the third one. I joined about 6 months after they founded the guild.
Okay, so for almost 13 years you've been with the guild, and you had 2 guild leaders. And when the second one, did they say, "Hey, I'm leaving. Do you want to take over the guild?" How did that transpire?
A little hazy at this point, but he was ready to step down, and I didn't want to see the guild go away. I wanted to carry it on, and here I've been. Funny story, if I might.
Certainly.
I came to Wormrest from another server, Thorium Brotherhood, and for some reasons I won't go into, I didn't want to join a guild, and I was also subtly convinced by Cariel, who was the first guild leader, and Keenstar, who was one of the officers at the time, to join. And being just a recruit here, seeing how organized they were even at that time, and I remember thinking to myself, it's so nice. They'll never need me to do anything. I won't have any responsibilities. I won't have to lead any events. They're all so capable and responsible and organized. I can just be one of the Sentinels. I can just be one of the people and not have to do anything. Look where it got me.
So you took on the mantle, and as a guild leader, let me tell you, the difference between running just a PvE guild or a PvP guild is certainly they all have their ups and downs. But from my experience and over the years that I've talked to guilds, one of the hardest things to run is a roleplay guild. And the reason is, you're not only dealing with, in-character stuff, but you're also dealing with out-of-character stuff. And sometimes the two don't mesh. And so there's a lot more that you have to deal with as a roleplay guild leader. Over the 13 years, and you already kind of touched on this, talking about delegating, not allowing that to only fall on your shoulders. What do you think the hardest thing for a roleplay guild leader to do is?
For me, especially being that this is a military guild, not being looked on as I don't want to be looked on out of character as the commander. I don't want to be this high and mighty person that no one ever feels they can approach me or talk to me. We follow ranks and protocol in game. We do the salutes and we have the ranks and the hierarchy, but out of character, I don't want to be the boss man. I don't want to be the someone that members are intimidated with to approach. Not just to. I don't want it to look like this is some sort of power trip, which is unfortunately I've seen in other military guilds where the higher up you go, it's something of an ego trip. And trying to make sure that the guildies understand that it's just role play, and there's two different sides. There's the in character and the out of character.
All right, that's a great answer. And so, someone that's wanting to start their own guild,
don't do it.
We're not that bad, Adele.
Just run the other way. If you were to give them a piece of advice, they're wanting to start their own guild, what's the first thing they should do?
Don't give up, and don't do it alone. And I this goes into what I said earlier. You can't do it by yourself. You need, and when you're starting out, at least you need one or two other people that are willing to help you and help shoulder the burden, because you can't be online 24 hours a day. You can't host every event. You're going to burn yourselves out.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, don't give up. This guild, any guild, has its ups and downs. And over 13 years, this guild is, I like to think it's been a smoother trip than a lot of guilds have, but it still has had its struggles, and you got to take those, take the good with the bad. And
now I know a lot of guilds, they come to they have a struggle, and that tends to shatter that guild, and they can't recover. And you mentioned that you have had struggles. What has made the difference? What's kept you guys together instead of just completely falling apart?
I think it's mostly. I think it comes down. It comes down to having officers that will still support you. And you don't want officers that are just yes men that will agree with everything you say. Yes, Adele, everything's great, Adele, you're perfect, Adele. You want officers that support you, but are also willing to question you at times and say, hey, Adele, maybe we should be doing it this way, or maybe this would be a better idea.
Excellent. I guess, and I guess that brings us around to current state of affairs in roleplay as a whole in retail WoW. And again, anybody that walks through Stormwind or any of what used to be major roleplay hubs, especially on Wyrmrest Accord, will find it's bare to none. What do you think has happened as far as roleplay is concerned on Wyrmrest Accord?
I can't speak much for the Horde side, though it does, from my experiences being questing and doing world events, where I always feel like I'm the only alliance that shows up at some of these. I think Horde is still pretty active, but Alliance, unfortunately, has dwindled away. A lot of it has either migrated to Moonguard, or I know a lot of players have simply walked away due to Blizzard's questionable activities in the recently. There is hope, though. I don't want to be all gloom and doom, so don't let my opinion turn you away from trying to roleplay here. I don't want to be like that. There are resources out there. There are Discords out there. If you look at the Wyrmrest Accord forums, you'll see that there are still events. Most of the RP here happens within guilds or pre-planned events. There's not a lot of spontaneous RP, but there are resources. There are places. There is a Discord that we can maybe add in the link after, that is dedicated to organizing events, making sure that people see that these events are out there. They can go to them. They know when they're happening. So there is stuff going on.
Okay.
It's a long ways from its glory days, unfortunately. And
real quick, since I know not everyone goes to look at the descriptions, there is a Discord for the Caldore on Wyrmrest Accord. There is inter-faction role-playing group called Helping Hands, which originally started as between the Caldore and members of the Horde who weren't comfortable with what happened at Teldrassil and wanted to help rebuild. And finally, there is a Discord called the Wyrmrest Community Project, which originally started as on the Alliance side, trying to get a bunch of events to go on and happen, coordinate them, and now it has morphed into much more of the entire server, but that is where you'll still find a lot of Alliance events going on.
Awesome. So definitely, and it definitely, And not to say that role play is completely dead in WoW, certainly not. And as you mentioned, a lot of guilds have migrated, and I'm going to say back to Moonguard, because when I started role playing myself back in late vanilla and early Wrath, a lot of the folks were moving from Moonguard to Wormrest Accord. And so it's interesting to see that a lot of guilds are moving back to Moonguard. And again, so not to say that roleplay is completely dead, certainly not. And there's a lot of great, as an example right here, a lot of great roleplay guilds still active in the game, still having fun, still putting together events and having great times roleplaying in the game. So I don't want to dissuade anyone from coming to World of Warcraft, or is maybe new to roleplaying, wanting to hop in. There's still plenty of places that you can do so, and still can roleplay within the World of Warcraft meta and universe. So, yeah, so it is hard though, and it's hard to see when you walk to those places that used to be those big roleplay hubs where you could sit down, say it like the Blue Recluse, and just walk in and be bustling with roleplay activity. And you go in there now, and it's there's maybe 2 people in there, and trying to you're having to definitely work a lot harder to find good roleplay. And so and I mentioned it earlier as well, if Blizzard would quit punching itself in the face with all these scandals and things on the outside, and focus back in what made World of Warcraft what it is, and that's focusing back in on the community and doing the things that we love, and that's playing World of Warcraft. I think that it would definitely make for a better roleplay environment for everyone. So, going forward, again, we got a couple big events coming up for you guys before your guild doesn't disband, but how did we put it? Decommissions, yes. After 13 years as a guild, what's something that you would like to say to the community as a whole, from Moonglaive, Sentinels, to not only the Night Elf community, but the roleplay community as a whole? What would your final message, if you had one final message to give to the roleplay community, what would that be?
I'd like them to keep carrying on. Don't give up on Wormrest. I know I catch flack for this, but moving to Moonguard is the easy way out, and it's just, I have a lot of appreciation. They're the ones that are on these communities and these discords that are out there still promoting and still hosting, and I'd like to see them keep doing what they're doing and keep the fire alive here.
Because you guys will all still be here. Yeah, you'll still be role playing here
in one form or another. Yes.
Sure. And so, is anyone going to be starting their own guild after you guys decommission, or joining other guilds?
I think your voice cut out there, Turwinkle, but maybe it's just a Discord thing.
Oh, it might have been Discord. Let me try it again. So, is anybody going to be starting their own guild when the Moonglaive Sentinels disband, or joining other guilds?
As far as myself, this is the last stop on the train for me. There cannot be another guild for me. So
right.
I'll still be. This will always be my home until the end of World of Warcraft. And I'll be around. I can't speak for everyone else, but this is where I am. This is where I'm going to stay.
No, live with the cadre, die with the cadre.
True Sentinel right there.
That's right. And that really says a lot, honestly. Adele will not be tricked into joining another guild just as a member to end up running it again. So All right, guys. Well, excellent. You know what? And I know it's been. I can't remember when we did our interview last, but
10 years. 10
years ago. It's been an amazing ride for you guys, and I can't say enough good things about you guys. You guys have been amazing. I've gone to several of your events back in the day as well, and you had the precision marching, and the Sentinels were amazing in that regard as well. So, and to see that you guys are still here after 13 years is amazing. So, anything else that you would like to say before we say our goodbyes?
Do you want to go on a trust fall with us?
Oh gosh.
Yes.
We could do a trust fall.
Thing.
Leave the feather fall behind, though. You might accidentally hit something. It's better to just fall straight into the water. Just so you know.
Oh, go ahead.
At the small chance that they watch this, I want to do a few shout-outs.
Okay.
If that's okay for
You
everybody.
betcha.
So, Lee Dirana Silverhaze, Sister in Crime, Leorona Glaveheart, who joined about the same time I joined, and whom I watched climb the ranks to Huntress. Rogers the Human, he wasn't a Kaldoraya, but he earned my respect. Alicia Winddancer, the Worgen with the heart of a night elf. And a radial Winddancer, who really helped me come out of my shell when I first started. That's all.
Awesome. And do we have a gold watch for Adele? Anyone?
No, but I'm currently working on a piece of artwork.
Oh, awesome.
Well, what do you say? Is Turwinkle feeling brave?
I will do a trust fall.
I cannot promise any not be held accountable for any injuries that may or may not happen in this.
I did sign the waiver before
So
we
don't,
started the
please.
interview.
Hope he doesn't sue us.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Turwinkle, I've been in this guild for 10 years, and I refuse to do the trust fall every
Oh, well,
time.
that's.
All
My
right.
first event, they threw me off the tree.
They
Okay,
threw
so,
you off. Wow.
You know,
All right.
companionship.
Everyone mount up and let's.
All right, I'm gonna do
We doing-
the.
A procession?
I think we'll run there.
Oh, we hit the run. There we go.
Actually, I better.
Oh. Oh yeah, right.
So this is in characterly. This is something of a hazing, in a way, for new members.
Never done it. Refused every time.
So Turwinkle's
So now-
not the only new one going through this.
Yeah. So yeah, that.
Oh, you think
We
I'm
can-
doing it this time?
Hey,
Okay.
we can hold hands and do it at the same time.
Okay. I'll accept that. I'll only do it if I get to hold hands with Turwinkle.
There we go.
Seems like a good deal to me.
But seriously, though, this is a way that Adelwana proves to her Sentinels that she is willing to share any danger that they do. She will not ask them to do something that she's not willing to do herself.
Well, see, and that's something a good leader would do, right?
A little bit of creative jumping here.
Okay, let's see. If anybody knows Turwinkle, they know jumping's my favorite. Oh God!
Just pretend you're tall. You can do it.
Yeah, just well, I can do it. Oh, there we go. Got it. Got
He's
it.
got little legs.
I was gonna life grip you.
See, back in my day, you used to climb up Ironforge Mountain to get to the airport that was not
All right,
developed yet.
Hold up. Who wants to go first to demonstrate?
I volunteer.
Okay, Aelin.
All right, we have tribute.
Now,
Aelin and Moon.
can
you
we
def-
see if they make it or not before we jump?
I don't think you'll be able to. And
You'll see if their health goes to 0. So
Yeah,
something bad happened on the way down.
yeah, but they'll be
Okay.
outside your selection range, so keep an eye on the raid frames.
That's just
Now I forget which branch I'm supposed to jump off of.
Jump off the very tip of that branch. Don't jump off to the
Oh,
left
wow.
or the right. Don't go off the left or the right.
now.
Run and jump. Run and jump. Get some momentum.
Is there a is there like a battle cry that you say as you jump off? Nope.
Forloon.
For a loon, there we go.
Or Death and Glory.
For
Now,
red.
they don't know this, but Adelna usually goes last and shoot Featherfall herself. Shh.
No mages in the guild, huh?
Well, what's it? No,
Are you ready?
Priests get levitate.
Yeah, we're ready. This is
We're
going to be
ready.
the first time in 10 years that I'm actually
Wow,
going to jump off this thing.
I'm doubly honored. Oh boy.
Okay, I have no idea where we're supposed to
Yeah,
jump.
me either. I guess
Right off, get
just-
some momentum.
Oh,
and
we got to
right
get
off the very
momentum,
tip.
so we'll go back
Right off the very tip.
and then
Okay,
we just jump.
momentum. Let's do this. Turwinkle, are you ready?
I'm ready. Grab my hand. Here
Let's
we go.
go, let's go, let's
what-
go.
Oh, I'm hitting every branch on the way down.
Oh no!
I don't think I jumped out far enough. My legs.
I'll
Oh.
feel bad if we kill our host.
It's not looking good.
Can you feel bad if you killed me as well?
Yeah, but oh wait,
Well.
wait. I'll aim for the blue water.
I'm out of the fatigue zone.
I did it.
You made it.
I made it.
Hey,
Huzzah!
Yay! Woo!
We did it, Turwinkle.
We did it. We did it.
We did it together.
Yay!
You've
Yay!
levitated. You can come out of the water.
Oh, sweet.
well, thank you very much for doing this.
Oh my
We all
gosh.
Appreciate the time that you spent coming out to visit us, and it means a lot.
Oh, you bet. Well, thank you so much for asking. I just out of the blue, Adele's like, "Hey, would you mind?" I'm like, "Of course. Yeah, this would be great." I would not have said no. You guys are amazing. 13 years. Again, that says a lot for a guild, and it says a lot about each and every one of you in it. And from its leadership all the way down to its newest member, you guys are what makes the roleplay community in World of Warcraft such a great place for anybody to roleplay in, and you make it the community that it is, which is one that's open, warm, welcoming, and and again, a lot of folks consider it a home away from home. They consider a lot of their guild members just as important as family, and certainly as friends. And so thank you guys for what you do for the community. And so folks, again, you got until December to come and role play with these guys. They'll still be around after that, just in a different capacity, we should say. But if you want to...
If I may?
Oh, yes, please.
Just going with our delightful Kaldorite theme. The moon waxes and wanes, but even after we disband, we're still going to be here, so keep an eye out. You might run into one of us.
That's right. And more than willing to, if you're a new role player, they're more than willing to help you get started in your role play adventures. And you never know. You may end up being lifelong friends with these amazing people. And that's how, like, who was it that was brand new and just kind of someone came along and said, hey, we got this guild here, we're doing this stuff, come and join us. And next thing you know, 5 years later, boom, you've been with an amazing guild doing amazing things and having amazing adventures, and that's what it's all about. So folks, with that, let's get a nice picture here, and so I can have a wonderful.
Numa.
I'm coming back. Sorry, I had left my computer for a few seconds. I'm coming back.
Alrighty, we'll get a nice thumbnail for the nice photo for Turwinkle's scrapbook.
And as we get closer to the end of the year, I will have info about our send-off event. So there will be info out. I'll put it out the usual channels that I do. So if anyone's interested in seeing us off, we have some fun things planned.
Awesome. So there you go, folks. Definitely check these guys out, especially if you're here on Worm Rest Accord.